What's up guys, I've got an awesome and really informative gi roll for you guys where I'm going to show you guys cool stuff like how to retain your guard when you lose the triangle, proper arm positioning for side control escapes, and more. But first, I got a few updates for you about what's happening in my life and on the channel. I received my first degree on my black belt on the weekend, backdated to when I was supposed to receive it in March, but Canada still wouldn't let us open our gyms. And for those of you wondering who my coaches are, I'm under Dan Guillemette and Steve Burgess from Evolution BJJ. I affiliated with Evolution as a purple belt and received my brown belt, black belt, and first degree from them. I opened up my gym as a blue belt with only 3.5 years of training, and since then my only access to instructors has been through seminars and jiu-jitsu camps a handful of times a year. In terms of day-to-day instruction, I've been on my own for the majority of my jiu-jitsu career. The last 7 years without a day-to-day instructor, I never made any excuses for myself. I took progression into my own hands. There's a lot of great resources to learn out there on the internet, and I took full advantage of it. And now I'm proud to be one of those resources. I also have a match coming up against a 10th planet black belt, Cesar Bonilla. He's considerably larger than me and specializes in the lockdown and electric chair, so that's something I definitely need to watch out for. One last thing, I'm now recording the gi classes I teach at the gym and uploading them to my Patreon every week, so if you want to be a part of my classes, head on over to my Patreon. Almost time to get to the roll, but first I'd like to tell you about the sponsor of today's video.
And the sponsor of today's video is Raid, Shadow of Legends. Raid has a ton of champions, over 600 now. All of these champions come from unique factions, each with their own history in the world Teleria. And my favorite faction is the High Elves. Their backstory is pretty awesome. Their homeland, Aravia, has been around for thousands of years, surviving the fall of the Lizardman Empire, helped the humans form into civilizations, and defeated the orcs when they formed a huge horde and attacked the continent. But then things got twisted when Surath, the Lord of Darkness, convinced a bunch of elves to go evil and attack the kingdom. The civil war nearly ended the elves, but Aravia survived, rebuilt, and now is stronger than ever. And this month, Raid's got a non-stop schedule of special events and activities, including Forge Pass Season 3, with some amazing awards on offer, including a limited edition artifact set. Raid's even bringing out some new champions, along with some awesome looking champion skins for the incredible Madame Cerise. But wait, later this month, Raid's giving everyone's favorite champion the upgrade he deserves. Finally, Death Knight is becoming a legendary champion. I can't wait to see how Ultimate Death Knight turns out. This is the best time to get started in Raid, and if you click my link in the description or my QR code here on the screen, you'll get unique bonuses worth $30. We're talking a free epic champion Verges, 2k silver, 1 energy refill, 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in game. All this treasure will be waiting for you here. Just click the link in the description and I'll see you in the game. The rewards will be available only for the next 30 days and only for new players. What's up guys, today we have Mike and Pinder on the show. Pinder's in the blue and Mike is in the white. The reason this triangle happens is because Pinder wasn't controlling Mike's leg enough. He barely has a grip on it and he needs to control the legs at all times when passing. Mike is doing the right thing by immediately grabbing his shin because this will control Pinder's posture. I advocate for this all the time because posturing up is one of the main ways to escape a triangle. The foot on the hip is smart because it prevents you from getting stacked, but Mike takes it off and gets stacked. Stacking is also one of the main ways to escape a triangle. Mike tries to shoulder walk out to unstack himself, but doesn't quite get the job done. Shoulder walking can help you make distance when getting stacked and bring your knees closer to your hips rather than your chest. To stack you, they need your knees near your chest. The risk of triangles from your guard is that if they escape, they're also often past your guard in the process. If you go for triangles from your guard, you need to always be ready for the counter if they escape like this. What Mike should have done is use his right hand on Pinder's sleeve to stiff arm and frame. If he did so, he could either shrimp to regard or flip Mike over like this. Because now Mike has his back taken and it was entirely preventable. What Mike needs to prioritize is not letting Pinder bring his right elbow behind Mike's back once Pinder takes a grip on the lapel, because that's what Pinder needs to finish the choke, and Pinder leaves his elbow way too flared, and now Pinder's elbow's in front of Mike and Mike has an opportunity to escape. He isn't able to though, and let's see why. If Mike would have switched his grip from Pinder's right arm to his left arm, then it would keep Pinder on his back and unable to follow him up and recenter his hips. Let me know in the comments if you prefer the back or if you prefer the mount. I prefer the back, and my motto is all routes lead to the back. Pinders work in the straitjacket system where your top arm grabs their bottom arm and your bottom arm grabs their top arm. You can then trap their top arm with your top hook and feed their bottom arm to your bottom arm, so it's your one arm against their none. Pinder should have focused on keeping that arm trapped a little better because now it's free and all that work was for nothing. I like what he's doing by crawling his hand up and leading with his thumb to get underneath the chin. This is exactly how I would do it. I must have taught him well. Instead of a collar choke, Pinder goes for the rear naked. And realistically, is there an escape for a fully locked in rear naked choke? Not really. I just want to remind you guys that you can pick up my limitless rash guard at xmartial.com or any other gear and use code Jordan10 for 10% off your order. Mike transitions and does basically a shin on shin reverse De La Hiva. He lets go, but he should have used it like I do in these clips. All I do is lift my shin on shin butterfly hook and block his post in whatever direction I want to sweep him. Keeping your arm underneath your own leg in reverse De La Hiva prevents the knee slide, as the passer needs your leg flat on the mat to effectively knee slide. It's important to know why to do something, not just that you need to do it. I think a lot of schools unfortunately lack this. Pinder makes two mistakes here. Not only does he give up the underhook, but he also sits to his guard and basically sweeps himself. You gotta fight off sweeps and not make it easy for them. Here, if I stayed on my knees, I would've got wrestled down, but instead stand up and reset. When you get your guard passed or put in any bad position, you want to focus on getting good defensive grips. And that's what Pinder does. He gets his T-Rex arms in, which means that Mike can't grab his head. Here, as Bernardo threatens to pass, I focus on one thing, not letting him grab my head. This allows me to bump and shrimp much easier. You can still bump and shrimp when they have control of your head, but it's much harder. Here, my partner has a pretty loose grip, so it's not too bad. Whether they have control of your head or not, let's look where your other arm should be. It should be on the inside, underneath them, not flared like this. This will give you less options to escape and make it easier for them to submit you with things like Americanas. This is the worst place for your arm to be. It is so hard to escape from here, and it's easier for them to get submissions like far side arm bars. Pinder should have worked his bump and shrimp much faster, especially while his head wasn't controlled. Another great way to escape is by getting the underhook, which Pinder has available to him right now. Look at that space that Mike's leaving. This is my favorite way to escape side controls by getting my underhook. I can use it to get onto my side, then onto my knees, and then either wrestle him down or sit through to my guard. Now Mike's got Pinder mounted, and Pinder should have put up more resistance to not let Mike get underneath his arms to control them. He should have kept his elbows tight to his body because now he's getting armbarred. Mike grabs the pants to prevent Pinder from bridging, but grabbing the leg itself offers better control. Either grip helps prevent your opponent from bridging to their knees and top position, where escaping armbars is easier. There's no real point in grabbing that leg now, as Pinder isn't trying to bridge. He'd be better off committing two hands to breaking Pinder's defensive grips. One arm isn't enough to get the job done, and when it comes to his feet, he'd be better off pushing with his heels on the bicep rather than his instep, just like you see me do here. Mike does eventually put his feet on the bicep, but he also needs two hands on the arm. Except now, Pinder's bridging, so Mike should go back to controlling the leg to prevent the bridge. Because like I said, it's easier to escape arm bars from top position. It should be a juggling act between making sure they can't bridge and trying to break their defensive grips. Grabbing their leg is especially important if you don't have your leg over their head. Your leg over their head also stops them from bridging, but sometimes the leg isn't enough. Pinder makes this way too easy for Mike. He should be holding Mike's lapel with a strong grip. Pinder is wise to hide his back on the mat to prevent the back take, but really he shouldn't get in a position so easily. Pinder improves position by pushing Mike's knee in between his and turning his hips towards Mike for a real half guard, a much better position than the quarter guard he was in where his hips are pointing away. The worst place to be in half guard is when they have control of your head and an underhook, but Pinder does have some options. This isn't a perfect example, but he could connect his knee to his elbow and bring his leg in front of Mike for close guard, where the crossface and underhook aren't a huge deal. Mike isn't being super tight with his knee, and Pinder already has his frame in there, so it should be pretty easy to do. Now Mike's passed, and Pinder should be ready for the mount attempt, ready to try and catch Mike's leg so he can reestablish a guard. Just like you see me do here against Bernardo, I know the mount is coming, so I catch it with my foot and put him into quarter guard. A high mount is good, but if you place your weight too far forward without isolating their arms, you risk them escaping like this. I'd like to thank my patrons who support the channel. I super appreciate you guys, and if you're still here, please leave a comment or a fist bump, and I'll see you guys next time.